Allison Seymour.
Yes.
Okay, babe, so you have, for 20 years, you have been on the journey with me.
Mm-hmm.
Give me some observations. So, what's different between the Marc Clarke who was the host of Big Fat Morning Show in Baltimore, on top of the world career-wise, and the Marc Clarke who wasn't? Is there a big difference? What are the differences?
Um, no. I mean, because we always work the same shift. And so, like, when we're home, we're home. So now, when we're home, we're home. It's this whole time of COVID actually reminds me of just like those days because we're really on the same schedule. Because we at home. So, no, there's no difference. And you're just as filled with self-esteem and kindness and direction and focus as you were then. And that's the great thing about loving the job, or the job is like, I mean, the job sort of just, you are the job. The job of a host, a radio host, and Marc Clarke, that's the same person without being negative. Like some people just are workaholics. That's not it. Like you are who you are, whether you're on the radio or you're not on the radio. So it's not that big of a difference at all.
So, for those people who have gone through it or going through it, I always say you believe in me because you believed in your dad. I always say that's a big factor. Like whatever's going on, you held belief in me. What did it come from, babe? Because you have not. I always say during these ups and downs, from weight to job to whatever, you never treated me any differently. I never felt pressure. I never felt judgment. Like what is this Negro doing? But that's just inside you. Where did that come from? And then what advice would you have for people who go through the same thing? Because it's a tough time. People are going through this economic thing badly.
Yeah.
What's your take?
I
Where'd
mean,
it come from?
Where it came from was my mom, actually. You always credit like the way that I loved my dad, and I'm a daddy's girl, so that's true. But you got it a little bit like twisted. I look at my mom, and because my mother was an incredible money manager, and not till those stories where you're like, I didn't know we didn't have it. Because she never let you know you didn't have it. But then I always tell the stories about like, then I'm looking back, I'm like, yeah, okay. I think about when we saw, I don't know, like The Wiz on Broadway. And I'm like, well, Mom, like, why don't you want to come inside? And she's like, I'm okay. And it would be like, me and my dad, because she sacrificed. And so that we would have those memories, you know what I mean? And so she, because of the way that she supported and loved my dad, Papa was on sabbatical leave for a long time from the government after he was hurt while he was in the service of the State Department, and so when their money was cut back in it must have been the Reagan years when their money was cut, like I saw her just steadfastly, she took a minute and then she moved things around and then she kept it moving, not only to support her husband, who at that time was in ministerial school out in Kansas City, Missouri, but also the two kids, me and my brother. And so it was really her and the way that she managed the finances that I try to be like. But you sacrifice because it's worth it. And so it's worth it that our family is together. It's worth it that we're a unit and we can be out here like loving each other and going through life together. You can't put a dollar factor on that. So what difference does it make if we're down a salary? And if we have to move, like if we have to do something drastic to make it work, that's what we do to make it work, because we believe in each other and we're doing it because we want to be together. And so if ultimately you want to be together to do it, you sit down and you figure it out. How are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? And there are times when we thought, well, Mark, you need to go on and get that manager job at the Home Depot down the street. You know what I mean? You can go ahead and do this because this isn't working out, whatever. But and you are never like, no, I'm not. I got to do this other thing because I'm a creative. I gotta be on radio. So that's a long-winded answer just to say that you do it. I learned it from my mom. I got it from my mom. And yeah, I want my marriage to be like my parents' marriage was. And so I had a great example. But yeah, and you're worth it.